Hello, this is Julia Roth, and this is the Milestone 2 walkthrough for Team Battletoads. In this milestone, we really wanted to finish up fleshing out our levels as well as providing our player with as much information and a guide throughout as well. The first few changes that we made were to our player in particular. We did a little bit of PFI with our aiming. So we're allowing the player to aim as high and as low as possible, and they're still able to fire. That way they can kind of stand as high or up or below a player or enemy as possible. The next we did is we allowed the player to shift back and forth using the mouse, so they can aim essentially and walk backwards. That way they can kind of move backwards away from enemies and still kind of shoot. So you go like that and go from there. The next thing that we did was we allow the player to reload by hitting the mouse key. So if the weapon itself realizes that there's no ammo, the next time that you hit the left mouse key, it'll reload instead. It is also not possible to reload if there's any type of ammo in there. Another thing we did was we added an objective to our player HUD. Now, each level will have a different one, and in this one in particular, it's to make your way into the cave. So this level will kind of signify a kind of a starting zone for the player to kind of give them a feel for a few of the different things. We also added a platform to the top of our ladder, so the player can climb up and then stand up there before moving on to a different section. The next one is these pop-ups to let the player know exactly what they need to do when they hit certain areas. So this says press E to enter. That way they know to enter in here. The same is to press E to send the elevator down. This one will say press E to send the elevator up. Now we wanted our moving platforms to feel a little more in line with the theme that we were going for. And in actuality, you probably wouldn't find moving platforms in a cave. So we wanted to create more of a platform that the player has to move in order to continue on. This also helped us because it requires the player to continue moving, and they don't stop to wait for platforms to come down or come up in order to continue on. So now when the player jumps onto a platform, they press E, the platform will rise. They press E again, the platform will fall. This also helps in case they want to backtrack through the level as well. The next little PFI thing that we did for the players was we increased the size of these drops so they know exactly what they're picking up when they do so. Another design choice that we made in the level was the removal of our puzzles. This was to help kind of keep the gameplay moving without requiring the player to memorize any glyphs, the order that the glyphs are seen in, and having to stop to deal with those at the same time. Instead, we have two different types of doors. The first are ones that are triggered by these panels. The player will have to hit E and the door will open. The next one, which is found in the very beginning of level 4, are pressure pad doors. These doors require something to be placed on top of them for the door to open. In this case, the player does not count as an obstacle, so they're not able to open the door. But if he picks up this block, jumps onto here, and drops it, the door will open. And then the player can continue through. Another thing that we wanted to do was we wanted to create traps in the level that'll help challenge the player. So there's quite a bit of going back and forth where there's going to be an enemy on both sides of the player as well. We have these breakable doors. We'll open those, crouch down, get through, and the player can continue on. There is still a fair bit of exploration, so the player will have to move up and down throughout the level as well in order to find things. And then they can continue through. Another thing that's good for these blocks is you can pick them up and drag them and then stand on them in order to reach different heights throughout the level. So you can come pick up all of these guns. Now, it'll let the player know if they've acquired a specific item. So that's going to be listed down below to let them know that they have it. Another change that we did within the level was to our arrow traps. So initially, they fired fast and the arrow moved quickly. Instead, we slowed them down just a little bit to allow the player to see them. So in this instance, hit E and move up. The arrow moves much slower, giving the player time to get about it. We're gonna kill him. We also added a little bit of PFI to our collapsing platforms as they start to disappear along with the drops that are made. We'll open that. Move up. Shoot him. We'll use the TNT to destroy that, and we'll pick this up. Now we also wanted to add a way for the player to be able to destroy arrow traps. So what you can do now is throw one of your TNTs at them, and then they'll be destroyed. So the player can write that down, climb down through there, and continue on. It really helps to allow the player different ways in order to deal with different types of enemies or different types of trouble that they're having. So we're going to use the ones to move up. That sends it up and sends it down. So on and so forth. We're going to kill him, hop over there, click that, come back this way, kill him, and then there's the arrow trap. So we're going to use the TNT to destroy the arrow trap before moving down. Now this is initially where the puzzle was last time, which we've removed, so it allows us to continue through and to keep the player moving without having to stop. Oh, I think. Hop up there, click that. So on and so forth. We also still included our rock traps, which help to destroy enemies that are found underneath of them. And it's still interactable in the same way as they were before. We're going to go up and let those guys just hang out down there. The final goal of our player is to make their way to the very end of level 4 and allow them to finish the game out by finding the popcorn popper. So we're gonna get down here. Shoot that one. Oh, we ran out of ammo for that. There we go. We have ammo on that one. There we go. Now in this case, like I said, the player does not count, so they're not able to do it. So we're gonna go pick this up, drop it on there, and continue through. Navigate between these. Destroy him. Continue on. Oop. Move down. So now the player can kind of, let's angle ourselves so we can shoot him down there. There's that. Pick up this item. Drop it there, and then move in. The final goal of this level is to find that popcorn popper, which will eventually require different items from different levels in order to be able to interact with this all together. And then by pressing E, the game is over and it takes you to our credits. And here we have all of our references as well. This milestone was really important to us to be able to help instruct and guide the player throughout each of the levels. And that's by including all of the additional information that can be found as well as all the information applied to the player HUD. Thank you so much.